The most common causes of gas and bloating are the indigestion of our foods, meaning we are not digesting our proteins, our starches, and our fats completely. And those undigested foods sit in our digestive system and create gas and bloating. The number one reason that someone would not be digesting their foods is because they're not producing enough digestive enzymes from the pancreas. Another reason would be that, especially with carbohydrates, that they're not chewing their foods enough in the mouth, because in the mouth you have salivary amylase, which is the first stage of digestion of starches. So if you're just washing your foods down and not chewing them, then the first stage of digestion in carbohydrates is compromised. So it's very important to understand, and as we get older, we do not produce as many digestive enzymes from the pancreas as we do when we're younger, unfortunately.
Exactly what happens when we eat food?
When we eat food and it enters the stomach liquefies it and it passes from the stomach into the small intestine. The gallbladder releases bile and the pancreas releases digestive enzymes to break that food down into usable nutrients. Protease from your pancreas digests protein, amylase, starch, and lipase digest your fats. It takes it from large molecules to small molecules so that it can pass through the digestive lining into your bloodstream as usable nutrients. You can take digestive enzyme as a supplement to help ensure that you digest your foods, and this is an important piece of information. Undigested food sitting in your digestive tract will ferment, creating more gas and bloating, and over a long term, we believe that fermenting starches can develop into non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, which is one of the most growing conditions in America today. Why? Because starch ferments in the small intestine and produces alcohol. Therefore, non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. Digestive supplements consist of protease for protein digestion, amylase for your starch digestion, and lipase for your fat digestion. They come from plants. So all you do is take them with a meal and they will help break down any undigested food that you don't digest with your own enzymes from your pancreas. So therefore, it's sort of a cleanup crew. It cleans up that undigested food in your gut so that it doesn't create more toxins.
What does someone need to look for in an enzyme supplement?
It's very important that you look for at least the 3 enzymes that help with the 3 main foods you're eating. Protease for protein, lipase for fat, and amylase for starches. And it's a good idea to look for something in a high potency. So you can compare your labels and look and see protease is a very important to be the number 1 enzyme in the formula. That means it'll be the strongest. Protein digestion is very important because undigested protein can create the most toxins in the body also. So a good array of protease, amylase, and lipase.
Welcome back. This is Dr. Jen Sung, where clinical excellence meets excellent results. Today we're going to talk about digestive enzymes. What does it do? Where can you get it? And what kind of foods can you eat to help improve digestive enzymes? So let's get right into it. Digestive enzymes help to break down foods, so your carbohydrates, proteins, and fats. The pancreas produces and releases amylase, lipase, and protease. The interesting fact is, in the past, they used to think that the pancreas would continuously produce these digestive enzymes. However, more recent literature will show that digestive enzymes can be reabsorbed and recycled through the pancreas. The mouth produces amylase and lipase. Stomach produces protease. So what does the enzymes do? Lipase breaks down carbohydrates, sugars, and starches. Lipase breaks down fats. Protease breaks down protein. Sucralase breaks down sucrose. Lactulase breaks down lactose. this is an interesting one. DPP4 breaks down gluten and dairy proteins. So that's good to have when you go out and eat at restaurants and you're gluten sensitive. So you're trying to avoid gluten and on a gluten-free diet, but accidental exposure is very common when you eat out. So when you eat out, you might want to add in DPP4 to help prevent gluten reactions. Now, this is not meant to be used so you could have more gluten. It's meant for accidental exposures. And certainly celiac patients should absolutely avoid gluten. So there are more enzymes than the ones that I listed. Obviously, there's a lot more in terms of breaking down different types of particles in our system. Now, the digestive process starts with a thought and a smell. So if you think about food, think about it for a second. Your saliva production will increase. If you smell something, think about smelling a lemon. Automatically, your saliva will start to produce more, right? So the thought and smell will start to improve or increase the enzyme production in the mouth. And then your stomach will go, we're going to get ready for food. It's going to increase HCl and pepsin. And the pancreas will start to kick out more amylase, lipase, and protease into our system. Now, digestive enzymes, what are the clinical signs that you may have a problem with digestive enzymes? Gallstones, autoimmunity, like celiac disease or Crohn's disease. Pancreatitis, because pancreas produces the amylase, lipase, and protease. Bloating, gas, bowel movement changes, diarrhea, constipation, use of antacids, excessive stress. Floating stools, meaning greasy stools, that you're not able to break down your fats and your stool will actually float in the water. Indigestion, and I already mentioned gas and bloating. So where do we get digestive enzymes? So you can get one from animal sources like porcelain and bovine, basically pig and cow. You can also get plant-based, papain from papaya, bromelain from pineapples, okay? And they both help to break down protein. So these plant-based digestive formulas will also help break down protein. Kiwis has something called actinitin, which is also helping breaking down proteins. You have mangoes that produce amylase. Raw honey is also advantageous. Avocados, interesting, it produces lipase or has lipase in it because avocados are fat and lipase breaks down fats. Bananas, amylase, and glucosidase. So a lot of these plant-based foods can also help break down proteins and fats and carbohydrates. Other foods that can be beneficial, fermented foods like sauerkraut, kimchi, miso, ginger, kefir, which is a fermented milk, lemon juice, celery juice, dandelion root. So if you use or implement some of this into your diet, you might need less of taking digestive enzyme, HCl, and so forth. So it's important to have some of this in your diet. Other considerations. Obviously, you can supplement digestive enzymes plus HCl, plus pepsin, ox bile. Cofactors like B vitamins and minerals are also very important cofactors that are needed for enzyme production. Also, you will need the correct pH in our stomach. So the pH stomach runs around 2, 2.5, 3. So you need the correct pH in the stomach and proper temperature to activate these enzymes. So what that means is that if you're taking a lot of antacids, the pH is not going to be low enough to activate some of these enzymes, and the proper temperature. Also, when you look at things like protease, it's in the stomach. It helps to break down proteins in the stomach. The stomach pH activates the protease. However, when the protein gets into the small intestine, the pH changes, right? Once the pH changes, protease is not as active. So you need another enzyme called trypsin, which will help break down protein in the small intestine. So digestive enzymes can be pretty complicated, but if you just break it down and very simply say, do I have issues or signs and symptoms? And then can we add in some of these foods that can be advantageous? If not, we can add in animal sources, plant sources of digestive enzymes, and more foods that have quote unquote digestive enzymes in them. So it's very important to understand, because you need to break down your foods appropriately to the proper amino acids so it can be absorbed and utilized by your own healthy tissues. All right? My name is Dr. Jin Sung, where clinical excellence meets excellent results, and we'll see you guys next week on the healthy side. Have an awesome day.